Boris Johnson is drawing up ambitious plans that would see London transformed into a shipping hub to rival Singapore after Brexit, in a move that could boost the UK economy by £3.7 billion over 3 years. The government is putting together proposals to overhaul UK shipping tax laws to enable more vessels, including oil rigs, to be classified as ships after Brexit, the Financial Times has reported. Industry bodies and unions have been briefed over the reform of the shipping industry's tonnage tax from January 1, 2021, by which time the UK will have cut all ties with the European Union and no longer be subject to the bloc state aid regime on subsidies. The plans, which were due to be submitted to ministers at the Department for Transport last week, are being developed as the negotiations on a post-Brexit trade deal between the UK and EU in Brussels reach a critical point, with just 2 weeks left until the transition period deadline expires on December 31. One of the remaining stumbling blocks in the ongoing talks is the issue of managing Britain's regulatory divergence. But the government has calculated that revamping the shipping tax and regulation regime could be worth £3.7 billion to the economy over 3 years. The move would also create 2,500 jobs directly, with a further 25,000 created in related industries. These proposals include expanding the scope of the UK scheme by beginning to consider oil rigs as ships for tax purposes as part plans to attract more business. This is currently prohibited under EU rules which for the time being control the subsidy of maritime transport. At least for the next 2 weeks until the end of the transition period, tonnage tax regimes are signed off by the bloc state aid authorities. The rules present shipping firms with a way of avoiding corporation tax in exchange for registering and managing their vessels in an EU country. But among the plans being discussed by ministers is to enable floating production storage and offloading vessels and drilling rigs to be included in the UK tonnage tax regime. They believe this would allow Britain to gain a competitive edge over EU regulations currently in place. A government-funded scheme worth £30 million to train cadets directly on behalf of shipping companies has also been suggested. A report prepared by the government has warned that since the Brexit referendum in 2016, the tonnage of ships registered under the UK flag has plummeted by a third because of the continued uncertainty over Britain's departure from the EU.